This is Bob Buckley with another Frontline Disc Golf Form Review. Today we have Taylor Ortiz on the right against Dan Brooks Walls on the left. I'll go ahead and play this frame by frame and then I'll back it up and start my review. So the first bullet on my notes is pretty much the same for probably like 80% of amateurs, or I don't even have to say amateurs. Most of the reviews I do, some of them aren't even amateurs. The first bullet is always get your left hand down. And the reason being, you'll see later, is that with this left hand here, when you go to do your reach back, the disc tends to follow the left hand, and now you're probably thinking, well, Dan has his left hand on his disc, and I watch Paul McBeth and he uses his left hand on his disc. That's fine. Once you notice that as soon as they take their first step, his hand is off the disc. So I'll get into more of that later when it comes to the X step and the reach back. So I want you to notice how big Dan's first step is, just how small Taylor's first step is. It's perfectly fine to take a bigger X step. I think that might help with the next bullet, which is make sure you're landing on the ball of your foot and not your toe. You'll notice when Dan comes through, he lands kind of on his toe, but he lands like his feet are almost parallel. What happens, and again, this is another bullet that never leaves this note. This never leaves this notepad over here. I just change the name and leave these bullets because every amateur or every person that I review does it. You'll see. You'll notice his feet are perpendicular, and what that does is it turns your hips and it throws your timing off. The whole throwing motion begins with your hips, believe it or not. And if your hips are off, it's going to throw the rest of the timing of the throw off. So notice that we are now coming out of the X step and Taylor's left hand is still on the disc. What this does is it causes people to round because that disc naturally follows the left hand. And you'll notice as Taylor lands on his plant foot, he isn't at a full reach back here because his arm rounded and followed that left hand. You should have your reach back here, not here. And you'll notice if I back it up and look at Dan's, that as his front foot plants, he's got a full reach back. And he doesn't begin his reach back until that plant foot comes out of the X step. It's almost as if his front foot, or his plant foot, and his arm doing the reach back act as one motion. I'm gonna move these notes up. It's right at the end of them. So yeah, I said notice the left hand is still on the disc. when the plant foot is about to come out of the X step, and I said timing's off. Reach back should start when the plant foot comes out of the X step. You're starting to reach back early. Go back and look at that. So your reach back, like I said, shouldn't start until this plant foot comes out of the X step. And notice right there, his front foot, his plant foot right here hasn't moved yet, and you're already seeing movement in the arm there. Your pull through, so as you land with your hip, as you land with your front foot, the first movement we should see is your hips. And we're not seeing that because you're landing on you're landing open in an open stance instead of a closed stance. Go back to Dan. You'll notice that Dan lands on his toe and then pivots to his heel. He's not landing at an open stance, and that allows him to drive those hips through and get the maximum amount of power as possible. So mid pull through, we want to see like almost an A-frame or like a tower here, which is good. A lot of times we see like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Oops. We'll see people like here, or we'll see people here. So, and the reason I'm telling you what other people do and what you do correctly is because when you're trying to fix your form, I don't want you to accidentally start doing one of those two. So I think your weight currently mid pull through is good. However, it looks like you're not committing to a full weight shift, which what I mean by that is if you watch Dan's throw as he shifts, like all of his weight right now is on his back foot because his front foot is in the air. It's almost impossible to throw without that. But as he shifts to his front foot, you'll notice that his back foot comes off the ground as if he's kicking. And you'll notice that like, the disc is out of your hand. The disc is out of your hand here, and your back foot is still on the ground. Whereas Dan's foot is off the ground, disc is out. Another thing that I didn't put on my notes over here, I can add it at the bottom, I just gotta make this font small, is notice Dan never looks up. The disc is out of his hand, and he's still looking straight. He's not looking or throwing, and it's so hard to do, but that's really like one of those things that the pros do that hands just can't get right. You'll notice that you're already looking at your target here. You can't see me pointing, but I'm pointing at the screen. It will also a good job with your, move this up more, good job allowing the disc to rip out of your hands, and good job with the follow through. So one of the things I look for is I look for the first frame where the disc is out of your hands, and I look to see if you're making a fist or if your hand is open. If your hand is open, it means you're letting go of the disc. If your hand is closed, it means you're allowing it to rip out. So that's a good thing your hand is in a fist. And your follow through, I like to make sure that you're going all the way around and almost slapping yourself on the butt. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Oh, good job with your elbow here too. One of the other things I see with people I review is they don't drive that elbow through. And you could afford to get your elbow out a little bit more here. You can afford to get your elbow out a little bit more here to really get into that power pocket. But you're doing a better job than most. If you want to see a freak of nature, you can look over here at Daniel. And that is just absurd. I don't know how he's able to get his elbow all the way out that far. It's crazy. So, let me just add here. Don't look up too early. Alright, that's all I got. Hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully this helps you fix your form, and yeah, we'll see you out there. Bye.